And we're live. Welcome back to the Digital Creators Podcast. Today we are in the studio with Ariel. Welcome, Ariel.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So here on the Digital Creators Podcast, we are diving into discovering the core of creativity. So in this episode, we have Ariel Katzir, an artist who challenges conventional ideals with a background in fashion and textiles. Ariel explores the often overlooked beauty in the lines that grace our faces. Her unique pieces, crafted with ink and acrylic on canvas, have carved her name into the art scene. Combining her passion, Ariel also practices transpersonal art therapy, guiding others through their own creative journeys. Discover how she finds balance between workshops, collaborations, live shows, and the souls of a studio on the Digital Creators Podcast, which is live from Freocast in Wailup, Fremantle. So take us through your story. Tell us your story of how you got into painting and creativity. Where did you grow up in Perth? Were you born in Perth or?
So, my journey started. No, I was born in South Africa. I was born in South Africa, and we moved when I was 1 to Israel.
Which part were you born? Because I was actually also born in South Africa.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Johannesburg.
Oh, okay. I was born in Somerset West near Cape Town.
Nice. Yep. That's so nice there.
Yeah.
You were lucky.
Yeah.
Johannesburg's still beautiful, but
yeah.
Cape Town, stunning. Went there on a family holiday, and oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, take me back there.
The mountains, yeah.
Yeah, stunning.
So you were only kind of there when you were very young?
Yeah, so we left when I was like 1 year old, and then moved to Israel, and then had my early childhood there in Israel. But my I was like, my art journey didn't really start till I moved to Australia.
Okay.
My earliest memory of art would obviously be school, and like school being like the grounding of what an artist should be or whatever. But I remember when I was in year 5 and my grade 5 teacher kneeled down next to me.
Yeah.
And was literally like, looked me dead straight in the eyes and was just like, you're going to be an artist one day.
Whoa.
And I was like, as a kid in year 5, you know, you're just like, oh yeah, sure, whatever. I'm like, cool. Yeah, you feel proud because your teacher's like, you know, proud of you or whatever. But I didn't think anything of it. And I just kind of went through school going, I know, like, I understand I'm good at this one thing. But I didn't think, I'm going to grow up to be an artist. That wasn't on my thought. So, but yeah, it did start from there, whether I like it or not.
Was this in Israel?
This is when we moved over. So we moved over when I was in year 3.
Okay.
Year 3.
And what was it like growing up in Israel?
It was awesome. It was, I guess because you're a kid, everything's awesome. But from what I can remember, just, freedom. It's not like what TV is showcasing. It's, complete freedom. It was awesome. Yeah. And like just kids, everyone would play with each other. There was no segregating. Yeah. It was just, everyone was always over. Your door was always open. Yeah. People would just come over whenever.
Okay.
Yeah. It was really good.
So I guess, that's kind of different from here in Australia because, just our conversation earlier and talking to Nick, we're kind of like, I'm not sure what the sort of urban landscape is, but here with like urban sprawl and everyone owns like a big lot of land, we're sort of a little bit separated. We're not like that community oriented. Was that like it was very community oriented in Israel?
Definitely a huge community. I kind of get the sense where Fremantle feels like Israel. It feels everywhere.
Okay.
Like in Freo, there's like a sense of like everyone gets along with each other. Everyone has like these pockets of celebrations in the street. It's like that in Israel.
Oh, okay.
I always feel like
your
neighbour's your best friend. And
Cool. I think so many people, like maybe who haven't travelled, like don't experience that. Like I've experienced that in like other countries, like in parts of like Southeast Asia, there's kind of that vibe where like everyone's friends with each other and they're walking down the street and saying hello. Like even in Africa, there's that as well. But here, I think people in Australia and Perth are very friendly people. Like if you were to ask and approach them and talk to them, they're going to like love to help you out. But if you don't sort of approach them, I guess you're less inclined to like say hello down the street and interact, because I think people in Australia or Perth like their own personal space. As I was saying, like we like our own big block of land and like that's ours.
Yeah. I think boundaries here are a massive thing. Where I think like overseas boundaries is not a thing. Like people will just come up to you and hug you in the street if they didn't know you. They're like, "Oh, you're having a good day," you know. It's just, there's boundaries. It's like, I don't know if that's grown into us as a child or at schools or something, where maybe because like at school I remember saying, "Oh, you can't touch each other." Yeah, you know, which is fair enough, but
there is that here.
Maybe that's carried on through our adulthood. So now we're all just like, "This is my box."
You
know. Yeah, I don't know.
Different story. You know, maybe at the pub after a few drinks, like everyone's like getting that.
But it's sad that we need alcohol to do that.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
I think as humans, we're like social creatures, and it's important, you know, for our community to like interact and like help each other out. But yeah, here it's very separated, and you get, because we're a very multicultural society here, you get a lot of people coming over and they're kind of just like, what is this? Like, it feels very like a little bit empty in that sense, in that sense of community. Yeah.
Maybe we haven't developed our own culture yet. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it is to do with that.
Yeah.
Like we're sort of a young city and young country in a way. And
definitely.
I think, say if you look at cities that maybe are a little bit ahead of us, like Melbourne or something like that, I think there's, like, if we're talking specifically about the art scene, I think I know just from what other people have told me, there's more of a community in the art scene, and there's like more of a collaborative culture from that sense. But there's a lot of factors that come into it, I think.
Yeah, I feel like you have to find your own niche in your own pockets here.
Yeah. You stick to your little pockets and you don't go to that pocket.
Don't do it. Yeah, exactly. And if you do, you know, your other pocket might not like it.
Yeah.
But,
and I was talking to Nick, who runs Freocast here, and we were talking about, because Nick's an architect with over like 25 years experience, and we were talking about he actually works with sort of planning urban projects and how they respond to humans and culture and community. Okay. Like it's kind of, he makes,
that's cool.
Works with projects to do with community. And we were talking about, I was asking him, why does Australia, in my opinion, it kind of looks ugly compared to other cities.
Yeah,
like,
I remember you saying,
like Japan or European cities like Italy and France, they're like, have more of a, you know, an aesthetic appeal than here, where it's just like orange tile roofs, brick house.
So many restrictions here. That's why.
Yeah. I think it's to do with that as well. I think he mentioned that. And also, we just have like so much land. Like Japanese people or Korean or Chinese people like come over here and they're just like, wow, you have like
so much space.
You're so much space. Like they're used to living in a very small, you know, apartment or something like that, and that's normal.
Yeah.
Here, and it's not even looked down upon. Like if you have a small space, it's just like, it's like normal.
Yeah.
But here it's like you got to have like a big block of land and all that, and that's why we have like this urban sprawl and we're kind of a little bit separated. So I think that comes into that. For
community. Sure. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, space. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a little bit of, I guess, recap what I learned. There's low density, medium density, and high density living.
Okay.
So
I'm learning something now.
Yeah.
I'm like, gather around.
Nick can mark my what I'm about to say here. But low density is pretty much what we have here. It's like you get your own big block of land and a house and a front garden, backyard. High density is basically sort of like a high-rise building with apartment blocks, so you can
Okay.
fit like a bunch of people in a small space.
Yeah.
And then medium density is in between. That's where maybe you have like a couple stories or 3 stories. And that's kind of ideal for community. Like if you look at, there's some developments even in Fremantle, and like a lot of people can live above or below each other, but it's not like a high-rise thing.
Right.
And like
okay.
that's better for
So that's
community.
the sweet spot.
Yeah.
Right.
But
okay.
there's like, as you're saying, laws here that
so many
prevent that. So there's a new medium density law that was going to come out, and architects were excited because they're like, oh, finally.
Oh, really? I had no idea about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And apparently got scrapped. So now,
Oh, okay.
or something like that. So
What a shame.
yeah, but I'm wondering what are the buildings like in Israel? Is it sort of like you guys sort of living on top of each other a little bit? Or?
Well, yeah, we lived in a flat, and then you also have your kibbutz, which is like community living, which everyone. It's just really cool concept where like everyone helps each other and lives off the land and lives off the salary that everyone else makes, and kind of share.
Cool. Sharing.
Yeah.
You see, here we don't. I don't think we have sharing. The concept of sharing is just like not.
It's like don't touch it.
Yeah, my stuff.
Yeah, I earned this.
My boat, my house.
Yeah, literally. It's like all or nothing. Yeah. It's like fend for yourself.
Yeah.
Survival of the fittest. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's so sad. But yeah, so huge community in Israel. Huge.
Okay. And is it like a community garden and
Oh yeah.
stuff like that?
Farming, major farming there. Yeah, the kibbutz is great. A lot of people find themselves, once they go to kibbutz, they don't never leave because it's just like such a sense of like home. We never experienced the kibbutz. When we were there, we lived in a flat, so high rise.
Okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a small space, like high rise buildings. Yeah, like the each flat was like a normal size house. Like it was two bedroom house. But like the living space was huge, kitchen was huge. It's different format, even though it's a high rise.
Was it like, did you have shared kitchen or shared laundry or anything like that?
No.
And laundry?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. It was massive space. So it felt like a house, but within a tall building.
Okay.
If you know what I mean. But with no garden because you just have a balcony.
And then what like was shared?
The building. The gardens, the parking lots. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Kibbutz is what was a share.
Oh, kibbutz.
The kibbutz.
Can you remind me what that is again?
Well, so it's like a shared living community.
Yeah.
So you each have your own little house, or you can share a house with someone, but it's not like a normal looking house. It's kind of like I don't know how to describe it.
Did you live in the kibbutz?
No, we didn't do kibbutz,
you didn't live
but there's a huge community of kibbutzes in Israel. I don't know if that's a word. But
kibbutzes.
Kibbutzes. No, kibbutz.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you didn't live in the kibbutz, but there are like lots of kibbutzes.
Yeah, kibbutzes.
Kibbutzes, that's a new word.
Yeah. Kibbutz, yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, pockets of people living together and working together.
Yeah.
And making a living together.
Oh, yeah, living together. That's cool. And it's like a big part of Israel culture.
Yes.
The kibbutz.
Yeah, huge. They're very well known for it.
Because I do know in Malaysia there's what's called a longhouse.
Okay.
And everybody, like they live in the same building but in like different rooms. And then there's like one big like long walkway.
Right.
And it's like a shared space where they have like parties or events.
Sweet.
So again, it's like shared.
Yeah.
Like and it helps, community. So
Yeah.
everyone's kind of like interacting with each other all the time.
See, that's nice.
We don't have like, what's our version of that?
Cult.
Like, I don't know. We have
Fremantle.
Yeah, like Fremantle's definitely
student share houses.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. So did you start? What was like your first sort of creative outlet? Was it painting or drawing or?
It was yeah, okay. I'm gonna say it would have to be painting. It'd be drawing and painting, bit of both. Are you talking about professionally?
No, just when you first started. Like, did you first what was your I guess maybe it was in school. You were saying it was in school.
Yeah. I guess drawing and whatever they teach you in school, really. But I wouldn't say that was really my passion. It's just because it's something that you've learned. Where like I said earlier, I wasn't aiming to be an artist, so I wasn't doing my creative strengths then. I was just learning the techniques that they were teaching me and teaching us. But I would have to say that I was drawn to painting. I was drawn to drawings, but I did realism for a really long time in high school, and I think that kind of killed it for me. And I didn't enjoy art because of that, and I stopped actually painting and drawing for about 2 years after high school because I was just like, if this is art, I don't want to do it.
Oh, because you were...
I studied fashion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so because I was completely turned off art.
Realism, though, that was at... Where did you study realism?
High school. It was high school.
Okay.
They push realism. I don't know, and they.
Which where was this?
Yeah, I was like, I'm like, don't hate me, Mr. Warren. I love my art teacher. He's a wonderful man. Yeah, Mr. Warren, I'm so sorry to see this. It was in Mount Lawley Senior High School, great school, but I think there's, they have to tick boxes, to pass students, obviously.
Because art's like so difficult, I feel, because if you're a parent and your kid's learning art, but you have no idea about art, like, and the school wants to kind of like, at the end of the day, show that they're teaching the kids art, but it might not make sense to the parents, you know what I mean? Like, artists think in different ways to regular people about their art.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe an old person will be like, oh, okay, say paint this set of headphones over here. And then if it looked like whack, they might be like, whoa, my kid might be failing art because it doesn't look like the thing that they're painting.
Exactly.
It's like abstract.
Yeah.
What's happening to my child? What are you doing to my child? So then they have to be like, oh, you have to make it exactly like it is, but that's not what art is about. It's about like expressing your view on what these headphones are or whatever.
Yeah. And I think we go through glimpses of stages through that when you're studying in high school or whatever. You go through glimpses of it, but then they don't let you fully dive in because, again, they have those boxes that you need to tick off. But once you leave high school, that's when your true artistic colours can show because you can just go wild with your imagination, keep pushing. Yeah.
And sort of be yourself more out of high school.
Yeah, because you don't have those, like I said, those boxes to tick. So I think when you study outside of high school, they make you push those boundaries.
But then you come into society.
Fun.
And then there's more boxes,
fun.
there's other boxes.
Yeah, well, yeah. It depends. I think it depends what area you surround yourself with though.
Yeah, because I can just speak from like photography point of view. In say if you're studying photography, they'll teach you, how to use a camera and that sort of thing. And I studied at Murdoch, and that what was good about Murdoch was they did teach you a lot of conceptual stuff, and they taught you about like sort of legends in photography and a lot of conceptual work. But if you're trying to get hired as a photographer, say if you're a corporate business and you sell houses, or if you're a corporate shopping mall and you sell clothes, you can't be too expressive with their brief. That's what I have always felt.
Yeah, okay.
You got to kind of like, okay, I'm selling this product.
Yeah.
So if you're selling a product, you can't really, project a lot of your style into the work. I think when you're just starting out, I think when you become like a really good photographer and respected, they see your style and they want that style. But if you're not respected and they just want you to sell a product, you're just taking photos to sell a product in a way.
Yeah,
and if you want to sort of make an income as a photographer, that's what you got to do. You can have your art as well, but
so you're saying that's like the first stage.
Yeah,
like
that's
building
like,
yourself up.
Yeah, and it's like that's the box you're in. Like you want to make money as a photographer, you got to shoot like this to sell this product. I'm not sure if it's the same.
No, yeah,
with painting.
Oh yeah. So when I went technically professional, a lot of the time in the beginning, I had to do these commissions that at first I was bloody excited to do.
Yeah.
I was like sick, like someone wants my art. But then comes all these guidelines of what, because this person is paying for your art, right? But then they have, can you do it this color? Can you make it this size? Can you put this subject in? And then they send you a photo of their baby and you're like, I don't draw babies. I'm like, have you seen my style? Like, your baby will look like a zombie. Like, I don't understand when I had so many baby requests.
Really?
But yeah, back in the day, like my style would not have suited that. I can kind of like mold it now, but yeah, I think commissions is where my bread and butter was in the beginning, and the way that I got my work out there and my name out there. But now I have to literally say no to commissions because I can't spill out my best work. But yeah, it's the same with photography.
So you had to work, sort of work your way up and like do that sort of work and then develop your style.
For sure.
And then now sort of your style is more the attractive feature about your work. So they want
so
style.
I'm getting like more and more known for it. And then people are like, cool, I want that piece. And you're like, thank you. Because then they can connect to a piece that's already been made.
Yeah.
Where if they commission something, I have to force it out of me. Yeah. Where my work's very intuitive.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really work. It's like fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's your, like, as a painter, commissions is sort of your, like a bit part of your income.
Yeah.
Are they sort of portraits of people? Is it more so families? Like, what's your kind of biggest?
My commissions now are mainly murals, and I don't do visual. I don't do visuals. I don't do words either. I don't do canvas commissions anymore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, like when someone does come to me and asking for a request for a commission, I have to just explain to them why I can't do them anymore.
Yeah.
And like the money is great for commissions.
Yeah.
But if I can't produce something that I love, I can't pass that on to someone.
It's
like
painful.
Yeah, exactly. And then I feel guilty as well. I'm like, here's a shit painting, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they might love it, but I just can't do it. I can't put my name on that.
Would you, because like if you had like a certain price and they were like, I'll give you like this amount, would you do it?
I'm like, how much we're talking? I'm like,
yeah.
You know, money's money, right?
Because even with my photography, it's like there's stuff that I hate, but if like, I don't know, if I have a big budget for it, I'll probably like do it. But it'll still be kind of like, I hate this. I hate my life.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I just don't want to go. I don't want to go to the studio and just hate it.
Yeah,
I want to go to the studio and be excited about it.
I think at the end of the day, it's probably not good to do that because you want to keep doing what you love to do, and the more you like work on that, and the more you can do that. So
exactly, and I think eventually that will resonate with people, and then it'll slowly catch on. But it's a slow burn, and then once you get it,
so slow.
Yeah, but once you get it,
like people don't understand.
It's
like
taken me 7 years.
Yeah. Like even to find your style.
Oh, my style I found during studying fashion.
Okay, yeah.
So I had this awesome lecturer.
Maybe we'll go back to your story a little bit. So came out of high school studying art, Mount Lawley. Then did you study fashion? Where did you study fashion?
Central TAFE in Perth.
TAFE?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amazing space. Really cool facilities.
I've seen the stuff they're doing. It seems like a good vibe.
Yeah. And the lecturers there are great. And they're like fashion designers themselves. So they understand. Like they work and live in the industry.
Yeah, they're real ones.
Yeah, they're the real deal. It's so cool. And just being surrounded by that is really cool as well. But they really push your boundaries and get you outside of the box, which is really cool. Yeah. Yeah, but that's where I found my drawing style.
Okay.
Believe it or not. Like out of high school I went straight into studying fashion. And I was so done with art. But then there was an art unit in fashion, drawing figures and fashion illustrations.
Yeah.
And I was so drawn to that because they taught it in a way that was more freeing, less
restricted.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, this is where it's at. And then my style came from there.
Cool.
Yeah.
So interesting how that, when you're you had to do realism, it like made you not want to do art.
Oh, yeah.
It's more of a chore, isn't it? It's just like turn this, like replicate this.
You're just copying something. How boring is that?
Yeah.
Like you want to be yourself, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to pretend to be someone every day. That'd be so boring. Just be yourself. It's so much fun.
It'd be fun sometimes, but
yeah. I guess like actors get
Yeah.
to pretend to be
Yeah.
people, but yeah, I'm like if you're trying to be.
But if you
someone
had
else,
to, be that person like all the time, it's
Yeah.
like,
be
Okay.
tiring.
And then, so it was the sketching that kind of got you back into it, like the sketching of the figures.
Yeah, so I had this lecturer who, first class, he was just like, okay, draw this figure. And then he was like, okay, you only have, I think it was like something ridiculous, like 2 minutes or something. And so we all just drew this figure really fast, just from memory.
Yeah.
We had to draw from head to toe. And then he got us to lay it all out on the ground and he was like, okay, what is similar with all these drawings? And we all just did like a outline of a body.
Yeah.
And then he was just, and then none of us knew what was similar. We were just like, some thick, some thin lines, like all this blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, so you all have an outline. Do you see an outline of a person walking down the street? Do we all have outlines? And we're like, no. And then goes, why do you draw an outline then? And we're just like, oh, because it shows a figure, the negative space, blah, blah, blah. So he taught us to actually work from the inside out instead of drawing from outside in. So now when I draw my faces and my figures, I always start from the nose or from the belly button and I follow the lines like contour drawing. So when you don't pick up the pen and you follow the lines out, and it's more intuitive that way because I follow the muscles or I follow the shadow or like a lump or, like something I can follow around and then it creates the body or the face.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because if I did that, I'd be like, there's no
Like an
lines to
eye
restrict
here.
me.
Yeah.
I need to be like,
Yeah,
I need to be
fair.
in the box. I don't feel
Oh, fair.
comfortable. Like, I guess if you're not super confident with what you're doing, you're like, I need the box. I need the outline. But then,
I feel like high school's done that too.
yeah.
Like, let me break you. Yeah.
But if you're confident with it, I guess, and then it is more freeing because you can.
Yeah, because you don't worry
Go
about
crazy
if it's
with
going to
it.
look like a figure or not. You're just
Yeah.
following the lines of the body and then it naturally just turns into a body, into a figure.
It's interesting.
Yeah. That's what I teach in my workshops and my one-on-ones.
So,
Yeah.
okay. I think we'll get into those as well. And then with the fashion, were you like, that's what you wanted to do sort of at that point?
Yes. Yeah. So I got all the way into third year. So I went all 3 years. And I was like, yeah, this is it. I want to do this. And then naturally I just got sucked into doing all these art commissions and fashion jobs that required me to just do the drawings.
Okay, what
Drawing
sort
side
of
of things?
What sort of stuff? Like who did you
I
do
did
stuff for?
fashion illustrations for a independent company who's not around anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And she did fashion accessories for women, so handbags, shoes, and I just did her drawings for her. And then I did a lot of
Is this like, why do you actually do the fashion drawings?
it's so that they can send them to the house makers and designers to put them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do they put the outfits on these drawings?
Oh, the accessories?
Yeah, do they like kind of like do a mock-up with the drawings?
Yes.
Is that what they do?
Yes.
Okay.
So with the drawings, there would be a flat drawing, which is including of all the measurements and sizes and then the materials used.
To scale?
I wouldn't draw the drawing to scale, but the measurements would be next to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you do a drawing.
Oh, so you just write the measurements, but on the figure it's not.
Yeah. So they know what size you want the handle or what size you want the buckle to be or blah, 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 It's just because the lady who owned the business couldn't draw, so she hired someone to do her drawings for her. She would explain to me what she wanted, and then I would draw her vision.
Okay, that's interesting because from what I've seen, you kind of emphasize the figure in a way that fits like their brand style or something. Like sometimes they have like super skinny models or like emphasized whatever, like hips or something like that.
Yeah, I had a certain way of drawing figures in my fashion drawings, and I didn't suit it to what they wanted. They just hired me for how I drew my figures.
Oh, okay.
And if they were happy with their vision of my drawing of their vision, then they're sweet. So they didn't care how it was drawn. Just
is that a full-time job in fashion? Like brands would hire someone to do sketching?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
Like,
because seasons go so fast. Like you're working on winter season and you're on to spring or summer the next. You know, it's like if you keep flowing. Like there's no gap.
and were you making your own clothes at this point as well?
Yes, I did have
tell us about that. That's interesting.
I did have a fashion line.
Cool.
It lasted a few years. I did a line of overalls, linen overalls with digitally printed drawings of mine on it. And then I did a bunch of like silk scarves and linen and stuff. And then I moved into upcycling and then closed the brand because it just took too much of my visual art time.
Yeah.
I was so drawn to doing art.
Yeah.
And then just fashion consumes you. Like it's a whole world. It's a whole nother world. And once you're in it, it's so hard to get out of it. Like so I had to choose one or the other.
Okay.
Even though I was mixing the two together.
Yeah. That sounds super cool. Like your art on clothes, like.
Oh, it was the coolest thing to witness. It was awesome. And like on the bed printing, watching it being printed was just like, this is the coolest thing ever.
So it was digital printed?
It was digitally printed. Yeah.
Okay. How I just want to visualize that. How does that work?
It's just like these massive bed printers.
Yeah.
And they just roll out the fabric, and then these printers just scan over the fabric and print.
And that's just like a flat piece of fabric that you might find at like Spotlight or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you turn that into the clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whoa. I'm like, how does it know which part is which? But I suppose you'd map it out on a computer and then.
Yes. Yeah.
Damn.
So it was a lot of like digital world side of things. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
I thought I'll also say we're doing a little collab.
That's right.
A little collab.
Which
I didn't know what.
about.
Yeah. Like, and I feel, I don't know, just an idea and we'll see where it goes. But I gave Ariel some clothing pieces, a shirt and some pants. And she's going to do some paint and just get paint everywhere because I'm sure that's what happens.
Oh, yeah.
You paint.
No, I have that on me right now, so.
Yeah, and I just think it looks really cool that you get different colours and, we're going to see what it looks like after.
Yeah, every mark's like another painting, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I love how you asked me, you're like, you can say no. I'm like,
yeah, because I don't know. Never done. Yeah, because I was like, I don't want to force you to wear my clothes or something.
Oh, no,
like
thank
that.
you for asking. No, I'm excited. Love collaborating.
Because that, we'll see where it goes. Because that could be a cool way of you doing art and fashion at the same time.
Yeah,
it's like,
I love mixing the two together. I do.
Yeah.
As long as I don't do it full time, I love it. I love it. Yeah. So count me in.
Cool. No, I'm excited. And then, so after you sort of closed that brand down, did you have like a brand like it's Ariel's fashion line or?
Yeah. So it went through like a little lawsuit, so I can't actually mention. Yeah. I'm like,
it got real.
It might still be going through that. I'm like, lawyers are involved. So I can't actually mention the brand name.
Okay.
But once the camera's off, I can tell you about it.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So you closed that down, and then after sketching, you kind of had a bit more confidence, like, hey, I'm getting paid for this, so I can
So
do my own thing.
I would pick up like art drawing jobs here and there. And then I worked for Rusty a bit, but it wasn't
Rusty.
Yeah, that was interesting. I learned a lot. Yeah. Surf's up, bro.
That's a WA brand, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've done really well for themselves.
Yeah.
But their headquarters was sick. Like, it was a great place to work.
Sick. So what sort of stuff were you doing there?
So I was actually just managing their online store.
Oh.
And
yeah,
I was
IT.
Yeah.
IT stuff, okay.
Yeah.
She's multi-talented.
Which was good because I learned a lot because then I can integrate that into my business.
Yeah.
And so I learned how to manage an online store, so now I have my own website and stuff. But
cool.
So that was really good to learn, where that was my first time kind of experiencing that. On a big scale as well, because like they have a whole warehouse and had to manage all that kind of jazz. And then I also did their hair and makeup for their photo shoots, for their lookbooks.
Oh,
So
you did hair and makeup as well.
did the hair.
Whoa, you're like a full production house.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm a one team kind of gal. No, but I love working in a team. But yeah, so I did the hair and makeup just for their lookbooks. So what would go online and to different fashion houses and stuff to see what products they wanted from Rusty.
Awesome. We got a little shout out here from Daniel Crossley.
Oh, Crossley! I did his art name is Alien Anal.
Yeah, he said shout out to Alien Anal.
Yeah.
And he said I collaborated with Ariel.
Yes. Oh my gosh, we did the best collabs. He's very, very intuitive the way that he works, and just to watch him it's like a miracle.
What sort of stuff does Dan do?
Does very abstract dancing around the page with different movements and very like on and off.
Cool.
Yeah, really cool.
I'll check it out after this.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Because you said you're working on websites. What website platform do you use?
Shopify.
Oh, okay. So it's very e-commerce based.
Yes.
Okay, it's not like a fancy pants.
I tried all that and I'm just like, no.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just need something that was easy and people and people were happy to use.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you learnt some cool stuff at Rusty, and then but you weren't really were you developing your style at this point, like doing personal work, or I guess you weren't selling commission pieces at that point, were you?
What year was that? Yeah, I was actually.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I started selling commission pieces in 2014. Yeah, and I was working there then. Yeah. So I was just starting out to showcase my art, and then I did Rusty. Was it 3 days a week?
Okay, cool.
So the rest of the time I was playing in the studio and doing stuff. By playing in the studio, I mean playing in my bedroom because that was my first studio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then I moved to a proper studio, or somewhat proper. It was on top of a bakery with no windows. And I think
that sounds nice.
I lost my sense of smell from that. Osborne Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
smell of fresh bread.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah.
And were you doing, because you said you developed your style quite early, so it was kind of the similar sort of take on the human figure.
Yeah. Always did that. Not a lot of color. It was a lot of black and white stuff. I don't know if I was afraid of color. I just liked the look of my style with black and white.
Yeah, I suppose with the lines, it's black, so it's and it's on like a normal white page.
Yeah.
That's where it comes from. Like I've also found with photography, my stuff sort of last year and before that, like when I was still trying to find my style, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with sort of night photography with this kind of like cinema noir aesthetic. So it's kind of like reds and greens with that. It's very moody. So I went with that and I did like a whole series, and I had my first exhibition and released a photo book, and that was really cool. And then I wanted to jump into something else. So I just started with black and white because I feel like black and white's kind of like this baseline. It's kind of like you can discover a lot from black and white. You're just experimenting with maybe shapes and textures rather than color. Yeah. And I also found with sort of my personal style, like what I wear, the clothes I wear, I was trying to find that as well. And I also started off with black and white. Just when I started doing podcasts and I was like learning about fashion, I was like, I want to find my style, like clothing style, what I like to wear, because I didn't even think about that. Yeah. And I didn't wear color either. I just wore like black, white. And I think because I'm finding like the silhouette, like that works with yourself. It's just like it's another way to, express yourself as a person. Also with creativity, I'm like really interested in that. So yeah, I was like just wearing black and white as well, just wearing the silhouettes. And then now I'm wearing more like color and like the orange ass beanie. Yeah, literally. Blue. Yeah, and your socks. And the socks.
So your photography has got color in it now.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just like I was literally like, I'm just gonna shoot black and white because I love classic black and white photography, street photography. And I'm like, wow. So nice. When I was in Japan earlier this year, I was like just black and white, black and white, black and white. And then naturally in Hong Kong, I just randomly started shooting color because I don't know, the color looks good, and I was just like, okay, we'll go with that.
You're drawn to it.
Yeah, you're just drawn to things, right?
Yeah,
with your
nice.
style, you're not like you got to have a bit of flow and just see where it goes.
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, the color looks good. And then I was shooting a bit of black and white, but now seems like I'm shooting color. It's funny, like I don't even know what's running this machine sometimes. I'm just like, this looks
that's cool. So that's intuitive.
Yeah, intuitive.
You just saw something that you were drawn to and just
it's very intuitive, which I think that comes into your style. And that's how art should be. It's like you're in tune with yourself.
Definitely.
And it's like even the colors you wear or whatever you're going to wear that day, it's like you just feel, this kind of, I feel like I want to wear this color. It's not like, I suppose if you say you're in a box, if you have a job and you have to wear that certain thing, that's what you wear. But for yourself, kind of just feeling, okay, it's cold, I'm going to wear a jumper, or like the colors, kind of whatever you're intuitively feeling as well. So
yeah, exactly.
I think it's important to be intuitive.
I think so. And that's why I like it when parents let their kids choose their own clothes.
Yeah.
Because then, and also it gives them like the self-confidence.
Yeah.
To just make decisions for themselves and also listen to, okay, what am I feeling today? Like, what do I feel like wearing?
Yeah.
Just like you felt like wearing an orange beanie and I felt like wearing this. But yeah, so I think that's really cool. Start them young so then they can naturally do that through adulthood.
I think that's a really important skill to have as a human being. Like, how do I feel?
Yeah.
Because I don't actually think most people think about that.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. You'd be so surprised how many people, like especially through my like one-on-one art therapy sessions.
Yeah.
That kind of subject comes up all the time. People don't know how to feel anymore. It's scary. And if they do, they don't know how to handle it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell us about your workshop, these workshops?
So my workshops are very surface based, so they're just more playful, trying to just get people to just really create and just have a good time.
Is it sort of like therapy?
No, my one-on-one is more therapy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, art is therapy all the time. Like you're creating, like that's therapy in itself. But the reason I don't do art therapy with my big group classes is because art therapy can get quite deep. So I just keep it very like surface level stuff and like I said, very playful.
Mm.
And then if someone wants to go deeper, I do the one-on-one sessions, and then from there, then we can discover more and be more personal, and then you can be more open.
Yeah, I think the one-on-one is better for sharing that
definitely,
stuff.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I think as creative people, we kind of have to have that. We have to be intuitive and like know how we feel to express that.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think everybody humans should feel comfortable expressing who they are, you know. But yeah, as you were saying, it's not that common, I don't think. Yeah,
it's really not. I mean, with some people it is, depending on what circles you are in, but yeah, a lot of my clients.
Why do you think that is, that not many people are like intuitive and not many sort of are in touch with themselves?
Our schooling system, hands down. Yeah, it has heaps to do with it. And also the food we eat. Yeah. It's disconnected us completely. For sure.
Yeah, I can say in the school system, yeah, as an artist, like I read something today and it was just like, they just put art at the bottom, you know? It's like science, maths.
Yeah.
Like,
but get this, sorry to interrupt you, but just while it's in my brain, they put it at the bottom, right? But then like during COVID, all the online workshops were sold out. All the materials at the shops for like the art section all sold out.
Wow.
I remember going to Spotlight and trying to get paint because Jackson's was just low on stock. And then even Spotlight was like sold out. So this just goes to show when people are in like need of something to do or an outlet, art was their basis. They didn't go to their maths books and read a maths book. Well, maybe some did, but majority.
Nerd.
Yeah, I'm like, get a life, mate. Don't know why I went English then, but do you know what I mean? So that just goes to show how much we need it. So this, but yeah, keep going. What you were saying, sorry.
Well, I think a lot more people are just more creative than they think.
Oh, yeah. Blows my mind when someone says I can't draw. I'm like, oh, my God, did you see what you just drew? Like, it's insane. Yeah.
And I think if more people were in just touch with themselves, more intuitive, just be better for society, you know. But yeah,
it elevates.
They always put sort of art at the bottom and all the other subjects at the top, and then the school system for me personally. I was at John Curtin here in Fremantle. Yeah, I think art was the thing that I enjoyed the most and I was best at. I don't think I was great at any other subjects. But now that I'm out of that, if it aligns with creativity, like if it's a maths thing but it lines up with somehow like creative, I'm like, whoa, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So if they taught sort of maths maybe in a different way, just like suit what you're interested in, or
100%,
they just teach it in like one way. So it's like you fit in this box or you don't.
Yeah.
But even like philosophy or science, like there's so many parallels with art and science. They like go hand in hand.
Heaps.
And I'm like, whoa, that's so interesting. So I'm like listening to podcasts on it, watching videos on it, want to learn about it. So it's kind of the way you teach it.
Definitely. I loved science. Science was my second favorite after art. Actually, music and then science. And then my science teacher was just like, I recommend you don't do science. But I loved it so much. And I was like, I'm not going to pass if I pick science. So I couldn't. But yeah, science and art, wonderful mix. Wonderful mix. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's, going back to why people aren't sort of in touch with themselves and aren't as intuitive. Yeah, probably school system, just how, like, as I was saying, in Australia, we were discussing before, we're a bit separated.
Yeah.
Kind of, we are quite an individualistic society here. We're not really collaborating all the time. Like, even as a photographer, I'm trying to, say collaborate with a model or something like that, and like a lot of the time it's like, oh, can't make it, because it's like, oh, you got to drive like 30-40 minutes, so it's like there is that distance barrier. But
like, how badly do you want it? Like, do you want to play
that's
or
what
not
it is
play?
now.
Like,
that's what it is now. I'm like,
I
do stuff sort of more professionally, so they have to fill out questions and then I know they're interested, whereas before I was like, let's collab, let's do it, and it's like, oh, I can't make it. School system. What else? What do you think? Maybe like social media. I guess we're like social media. We're like more, even makes us more individualistic because we're in our house and we like can text friends. We don't have to go to the house.
I mean, it has the pros and cons, doesn't it?
It does. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm on social media right now.
Yeah, literally. But I'm like, thank you for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, Facebook.
Yeah, thank you very much for your time. No, it's I love it because of obviously how you can reach people you would never reach ever. Like, it's insane who you can reach. But obviously it does have its downs because of the whole having to film your process all the time. Well, you don't have to do all the time, but like, how are you going to make content then? But I do find like it sucks you out of that creative process.
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
So you were saying when you're filming yourself, you got to like think about one thing and you're trying to.
Yeah. So you can't fully dive in.
It's the concept of like when someone's watching you, you do something different. It's almost like when you have a camera on you. So this is easy, but if we had to, or like if I had to look at a camera or you had to look at a camera and say, hi, I'm Ariel, it's different. It's like, oh, it stops the flow because you're like directing it to the camera and then it's so much harder. So I guess it's breaking it out of your flow a bit.
Because when you take photos, do you
film content?
Do you film yourself taking photos?
Yeah, 100%. So I used to have a GoPro on me and I did street photography and I go around and I shoot. Cool. So I had a YouTube channel which is still up and you get like the behind the scenes of the photos.
What's the YouTube channel called?
Harry Cunningham.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
but I don't do that anymore because I think it does like break my flow in the way that there's so much to think about before the shoot, set up the camera, make sure it's going all good. And if it's not going good, then I was like, what's the point? Like,
what's the way? Yeah.
So I've made it too difficult for myself to go out and take photos. So now what I do is like, if it's a good scene, I just whip out the phone and like film a little BTS. But I used to want to like record the whole like hour of me taking photos and seeing the shots but it's just too much. It does break up my flow. So yes.
Oh, wow. And actually the fact that it actually stopped you from creating.
Yeah.
Because that's happened to me where I'm just like,
it's like,
then I have to film.
I got to film, then you got to edit. And this is better like live streaming. It's just like, bam,
is what it
done.
is.
I don't have to like edit, but
true.
Yeah, social media definitely broke up my flow.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, like, can you speak on some of the issues a lot of people face and like why they want to come and do your one-on-one workshops with you?
Oh, okay. Well, a lot of my one-on-one clients are like mental health, which is massive, unfortunately. There was definitely an incline in it during COVID, the shutdown.
Yeah.
My one-on-one sessions definitely went up. Like I was like getting requests left, right and center. And so mental health was a huge thing. So I just helped them express themselves through art mediums and using different art resources to let go of whatever is in their mind and in their bodies. So I don't only use like mediums like paint and clay and so I also use music and body movement and meditation.
Okay. So what does like a typical one-on-one, what was the word you used again? Transpersonal therapy session with you look like?
So basically the first session would be more getting to know you, getting to understand how you work and how you work with different materials and what you're drawn to. So again, that's bringing in the intuition of that, the intuitiveness of that person. And then once you find a material that person's drawn to, then they can express themselves through that material. And then through that, I will guide them to help themselves. So transpersonal is about you and your pace. I'm not saying, okay, we got to hurry up, do this and do this and do this. I'm just suggesting I'm like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
And then
because they've got their own flow, right? And you don't want to like interrupt that flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's where the sweet spot is.
Yeah.
And then if I see like a little glimpse of something, I can suggest something. And if they don't take that suggestion, then awesome. Like you just made a decision. Where half the time with mental health, it's really hard for people to make decisions. So for them to just even reject me and say no, I'm like, awesome. Like that is huge.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think people, they don't like creative expression is sort of about knowing yourself. So it's if you're wearing clothes, you're like, I know this color is me and I know this color isn't me. If you're taking photos, I know this is the style I like, or painting, this is the style of painting I like. And you've got to sort of put yourself out there and try things and fail over and over again to kind of find out what you do like, what you don't like, what's the style is your style, what's not your style. So I think when the average person goes into the school system, comes out, goes into work like straight away, or uni, focuses on that, then goes into the work, it's like, when are they actually discovering themselves? You know what I mean? And I think you need to express yourself, whether it's, you need to express yourself to find out who you are in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think with this whole system, it's like, where do you actually, like, that's why I think travel is so important, because when you travel, that's sort of when you're finding yourself. You're out there, you don't have this box, you're kind of like learning, you're taking in absorbing different things.
Yeah. So
you're finding yourself. But in the school system and like uni and work, it's like you're in this box. You have boxes to tick. You can't get out. So I think that's why a lot of people don't know who they are. And that's why art is so important, to kind of find yourself.
For sure. And don't forget, like, also hormones come into it.
Oh,
like being
biology.
being so restricted in high school just when your hormones kick in and things are changing and not being able to explore yourself.
Yeah.
It's so hard because then you just have this mindset of being restricted all the time and having these massive boundaries around you.
Yeah.
And you've never been able to just play.
Yeah, play is important. Like, I think with society, like you need structure for society in some ways. We can't just like running around naked, like
exactly. I'm like
whatever.
Can't we?
but on the spectrum, there's like a spectrum to maybe that structure. I think, say how I feel where we are in Australia or at the moment, I feel like I don't think we're like shout out communist China. But I think we can always be more. I feel like there should always be more space here too for self-expression. Like,
yeah, we get glimpses of it.
Yeah, we get glimpses, but I think everyone, what is the culture here? I guess it's kind of like Australian culture is kind of like, I don't know, watch the footy and you have like a white picket fence and you have like a 4-wheel drive and you go like maybe you're doing FIFO. FIFO. I don't even know what Australian culture is, but like, and I think if you sort of move out of these boxes, I guess in a way like I don't think creativity is embraced in Australian culture. Like I think we're just I think maybe we're more about sport and activities and camping, which is like amazing. Like we have a beautiful country.
Yeah, there's a time and space for that for sure.
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out there. But if you look at our public art, our architecture, our urban planning, geez, like it's just so boring.
Yeah.
Like no.
I must say it has gotten better in the past because I remember when I first started doing my art and the public art was non-existent.
Okay.
And now there's so many grants.
Cool.
I don't know where these grants are coming from, but there's so many out there.
The sport and cultural department, which is the art department.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah.
They've clumped us. We're like somewhere in there.
Oh, really?
I think we're.
Oh, there you go.
The department's like the sport and culture. It used to be the arts department, and now they just clumped us in with the sport and culture. So
just chuck us in there.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we'll fit in.
I'll take anything.
Yeah. Okay, so that's cool. A lot more grants. We love that.
Yeah. It's just about applying for them.
Do you write your own grants?
I have given that a go.
And how did it go?
Out of 10, I've gotten 2.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good.
And I definitely recommend hiring someone to do your grant writing because they know exactly the wording and it's worth every cent.
That's why it's an actual career. Like grant writing's a career.
100%. Yeah, I'm all for it. I used to be all for doing your own, doing everything yourself to save where you can save. But if you're going to get a $10,000 grant out of it, pay the money or give them the percentage of it. You know what I mean? It's so worth it.
Yeah. So can you recommend any grant writers?
Oh.
Can you shout any out?
I'm like, can I shout? Well, not on top of my head. I'll have to go through my notes and all that jazz.
We might.
I'm like, I can leave in the comments later for you guys.
Yeah, we can drop it in the description.
Yeah. But also blank walls, they're a really good street art team.
Yep.
And they help artists write.
Oh yeah, Blank Walls. I follow them. They seem really cool.
They're amazing. Yeah.
So you think you've seen more sort of grant opportunities and more murals coming up? Because for me personally, when I look at a city and there's like, you can kind of tell where a city is on the spectrum of societal structure. Like if you see kind of paintings and murals and cool art, then you know like that they value creativity and they value expression and they value the arts. But if you see just like a boring concrete walls everywhere and just not much expression, you know, because I think if you come to Fremantle, there's like decent amount of murals and galleries.
Depends what pockets you're in then. Yeah. Vic Park's really good for it as well. They have quite strong.
Shout out Vic Park Council.
Yeah, that's it.
Did their photo shoot before.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, yeah, Vic Park. They have like a few I've seen.
Yeah.
But you've seen an increase in that. Was it since
Definitely
COVID?
I guess after COVID.
Shout out COVID.
Yeah, I'm like, COVID was great.
COVID for the arts.
Really helped us.
Can we get another pandemic going, guys?
Yeah. I'm like, literally, I'm not going to lie, my business boomed in COVID.
Right.
Not only through my one-on-one sessions, but people buying art.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to surround themselves with something good to look at every day because they were stuck at home.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
100%.
Surround yourself with beautiful things. Why not?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you saw an increase then. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of businesses were suffering, but yeah, I can't say
Have you traveled much, overseas or things like that?
I've traveled a lot when I was younger. I've done one-off things during my more adulthood, but not a lot of travel when older now.
Okay. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I think when you get older, you discover what you like and you put yourself in that box, but it's a box that you're comfortable with.
Yeah. No, definitely.
So like where not to travel or what.
Yeah.
Like what
I
you like
definitely
and what you
have a
don't like.
list. I have a list of places I still want to go.
Okay.
I haven't been to Japan yet. I really want to Japan. So every time you
cool.
talk about Japan, I'm like, oh, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So interesting thing about Japan. Japan's somewhere where creativity is definitely embraced.
Okay, cool.
But it's so interesting because there's this huge contrast between the creative scene and then like the working scene.
Right.
So it's, if you look at the fashion scene, the galleries, the public art, it's really cool.
Mm.
But it's almost like when you go there for a holiday, it's like it's amazing. But I'm pretty sure to live there, it's actually very work intensive, like very late hours, hardcore, working environment. And most of the people wake up early, go to work, come home. So there's a big creative industry, fashion industry there. And they've got games like Nintendo. They've got cars, like the cool car scene.
Yeah, so much cool stuff there.
But I think to live there and be actually in amongst it, I think in general it's a different story.
Yeah, fair enough.
But it is a place that definitely embraces creativity. And just from going there, and I shot Tokyo Fashion Week, which was amazing.
Awesome. That would have been great.
So cool. And I got to go to the shows and everything. They were very you can tell there's a awesome collaborative culture there. They're just like, yeah, come on, let's do this.
Amazing.
Which is super cool.
Yeah. Do you think that would have happened here if you approached?
Here, it's kind of like to get in. So the fashion shows that we do have, it's ticketed.
Is it not ticketed over there? You can kind of just.
It was, you had to. I was on the media listing, but I'm pretty sure anyone could go if you signed up. They were just outside a mall and they were just advertising it. So I'm pretty sure anyone can go because I think they have them all the time. I think they're everywhere, but they're really, a lot of thought goes into each show. It's the music, the environment, and it's very professionally done. But I think anyone can go to a lot of them. They aren't for the public, but there are a lot that are. So it is definitely more open.
Cool.
I mean, they're happening sort of all the time, but here it's not. So they're more ticketed, and if you wanted to shoot them and you're a photographer, you need to have contacts. And sometimes if you're not hired by them. So yeah, great collaborative culture, amazing galleries. Everybody loves creativity. But yeah, I think to live there, intense work culture. But there's this interesting polarity between the work culture and then creative expression. Someone I met there in a Starbucks coffee shop was saying a lot of the time, he was saying there was a woman employee and she has hair and it's different colored hair, but then when she goes to work, she would sort of hide it.
Oh,
and
interesting.
then maybe she would have piercings, but yeah, she'd go to work, and then when she gets out of work, you can be more expressive. So it's this polarity there, but it's
the workplace telling her to
you
tuck her hair away and stuff.
got to be very professional. Like
Right.
you got to if you have tattoos, hide your tattoos, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just interesting, this polarity, because a lot of Japanese, in the workforce, it's like very frowned upon, got to be professional. But outside, it's like tattoos, fashion, crazy fashion, like crazy, wear whatever you want. Like there's like guys walking in the street with like big pink dresses, and it's just like nobody cares.
Love
like
that. Guys wearing dresses over there.
Yeah, just during fashion week, like big floral. Like you can wear whatever you want. Like nobody cares.
That's so cool. Talking about guys wearing dresses, I'm doing a series called Men in Dresses.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to bring what they have there here.
Yeah.
Like just for men to be able to wear dresses for the sake of wearing dresses, not for it just to be a gender thing.
Yeah, it's super interesting, eh?
Yeah. I've shot a few guys for my inspiration for my paintings, and just photographing them and having conversations while I'm photographing them. The word that comes up the most is freeing. I feel free. And I'm like, how beautiful is that? And don't you want to feel free every day? Wear a dress. But literally, I could, just because someone would probably shout something out that stops them. Or what other people think, I guess. But yeah.
Do you think they would get shouted at if a man was to wear a dress here?
Well, I would ask, like, what's stopping you? And they're like, people saying stuff, or like if someone was to take a photo, someone said they're really wary of people with social media taking photos and stuff and making like fun of them on social media.
Okay.
But I'm like, you wouldn't even know.
Because, in, say, Indonesia, the traditional dress, like the men wear sarongs.
That's right, yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah. That's culture.
A lot of cultural other places.
So many cultures and countries, different countries wear dresses. Like men wear dresses. Yeah, in Africa as well.
Yep.
So why don't we do it?
It's it's that societal box. Like
coming back to it. Yeah.
So in Japan, like, or in Indonesia, if you wear the traditional dress.
Yeah.
I mean, that's so wrong. But no one would care. But if you wear it here, I think, just be different. Like even expressing yourself with fashion in Australia is definitely not common. Like people don't think of it that way. So you're a little bit weird if you wear something different. I don't know.
We haven't broken those boundaries.
Which is very. They don't even think, like, most people don't think about how they express themselves. So they don't know, like, even they don't know why they choose that color of car. Like, I think it's important to know yourself so much. Like, you know why you chose this color of car. You know why you chose this colored jumper.
Yeah.
These shoes. But most people, that's all right. So, like, I get it. Like, I think they place more importance on other things than knowing themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
So they,
Yeah. Because they think maybe those other things are more important, or
just like money, like
comes down to money, hey.
Which we all need money.
Yeah.
And
But people are making so much money from being themselves. Like,
but it's
online,
difficult.
Yeah.
It was
to get there.
I think it's easier to maybe, as much as I know it takes skill and everything to do these like FIFO jobs and whatever. But it's sort of easier. Like you don't have to use you don't have to be like in touch with, with yourself to go on a mine site and like, I don't know, drill a hole. Like you just do the thing, get the money, come back. You didn't have to like learn anything about yourself. You just did the task.
Yeah, that's it. Hey.
But to be an artist, you kind of have to be in touch with yourself, understand yourself, years and years of like express this, yes, no, da, da, da.
Yeah, that takes a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of practice, a lot of play. And people say, why is art so expensive? This is why. Plus art materials are really expensive.
Yeah. And then I want to get into, so we're talking about black and white.
Oh, yes. I love me some black and white.
Blue seems to be a part of your style, but don't let me interrupt the flow. Like, did you just choose blue randomly, or like, how did you start integrating color into your work?
So I knew I wanted to add color into my work, but I get very overwhelmed. Kind of like your idea with filming on your chest. You
Yeah.
got so overwhelmed with having the prep that it stopped you from taking photos.
Yeah.
So it was the same for me where overcolor overwhelmed me. So I didn't want to create because I was just like, there's so many choices. And to narrow that down, just like when I do with my clients, if they're overwhelmed, I will take away a art medium so they have less to choose. Because again, with mental health, making choices is really hard. So I did the same for myself, practice what you preach. So I just took away all the colors in the rainbow except for blue. The reason I chose blue is because when I was younger in Israel, the first time I walked to the shops all by myself. So it was this beautiful sunny day, and I walked to the deli, and I had maybe a few coins with me, and I bought like this blue bubble gum. It was massive. I remember it being huge. I don't know if it was because I had such small hands back then. I was probably 5 years old or something. I was tiny.
Bubblegum
I don't know.
was huge.
I can't believe I went to the shops by myself at this point. I was like, where's mum and dad at this? I don't know. Anyway, this bubblegum was huge, and I couldn't wait till I got home, so I just stuffed it all in my mouth at one go. I just wanted to just fully like feel it in my mouth, and I was chewing and chewing, and obviously like the saliva is just dripping because you're a kid and you can't close your mouth properly. And I remember the sun is beaming on my face in the heat. I can still feel the heat, and all this like blue saliva just dripping down my mouth, and I was just trying to catch it so it doesn't go all over my clothes. And then it dripped into my hand, and I remember looking to my hand, and the sun's like beaming in my hand, and this blue looked so beautiful, even though it was saliva and probably gross as all hell. But I just remember thinking to myself, wow, that is so stunning. And I just had this strong memory of this day still to this day. And I was like, all right, well, blue's going to be the color that I choose from the rainbow. And at least I can concentrate on this one color that makes me feel good. Yeah. So every time I paint with it, I have that feeling from when I was younger, and it just makes me feel good every time. So I'm just like,
okay,
if I can create with it.
So that feeling was just you being in awe of
this
beautiful
blue, and the sun hitting this gorgeous salivary blue. It was amazing. It was electric, like really bright blue.
And did you make that connection before you chose blue or after?
Make the connection
from because sometimes you intrinsically make a choice, but you don't actually know why you made that choice. Like I even made a little thread, Instagram thread tweet, and I was like, because sometimes I take photos and I was like, why did I take that photo? Like it doesn't even, like to the average person it might look boring or something like this. Like I don't even know why I took the photo. And then the more you think about it, or I even wrote, let me just see if I can, let me pull it up real quick. It takes 2 seconds.
I want to know what photo you're talking about.
It was
as well.
It's just of like these flowers in Fremantle just growing over the water in these rocks. Where did I say it? So I said, capture photos that speak to you even if you don't know why. True beauty is only revealed with time. Great photos age well. So true beauty is only revealed with time. It's kind of like you have these photos, even in your phone, but in like 20 years, you might look at them and be like, whoa, that means a lot to me, that photo. But right now, it's like, it's just a photo in my camera roll.
Right, yeah. Yeah, true.
And photos, they get, even with art, like as art ages, it like has more of a meaning to it. And even if you think of like Van Gogh, in his day, like nobody cared about him.
True, he never sold a painting.
And he didn't sell a painting. I think he
sold one painting.
But then like, over time, like his story, he just became this like icon within the arts.
Yeah.
And but yeah, back then it's just like,
yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. That's the photo though.
Black and white.
Yeah, it's kind of like,
wow. Yeah, okay, cool.
And I just intrinsically edit now. I'm just like, okay, I'll go with that.
Coastal blooms and lighthouse. Oh, so it was taken this year?
Just taken like a few days ago.
Oh, shivers, no way. There you go.
But yeah, I've got to have my camera on me now. I've got to bring my camera places, which I just need to remember to do, because sometimes you'll just intrinsically want to take a photo. You don't know
Yeah.
So yeah, it's that back in that point of knowing yourself and how you feel and intrinsically being motivated to create.
Far out carrying a camera everywhere as well.
Yeah, it's difficult. Like, I wish this was good as my other camera, but
that'd be nice, wouldn't it? One day.
Yeah. So did you make the connection after? I forget what you.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think I did make the connection after, and because people would always ask me why blue, and I remember sitting there going, yeah, why blue? And I was just like, I love blue. Why do I love blue? And it came to that story. And I was like, this is why I love blue.
It's interesting how things tie back to your childhood all the time.
Always. Your brain is in such a sensitive place when you're younger, and it molds you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had so many, even this year, just realizing that.
Yeah.
A lot of times, even with like my work and everything, because I traveled a lot as a child, and it kind of just experiencing different cultures is a bigger part of what I enjoy about life and what I do. So I think that the night series was kind of me making a decision like on one thing, because when you have all these styles and like you don't even know what style yours is, I think it's best, even with what you're doing, you just pick one thing, just go for it, just try it out.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I did. And then looking back at the work, there is like there's a lot of like different multicultural people in there, different like restaurants that I shot in around Perth, which I only realize now why I shot it that way. So that's why, with time, I'm like learning more about myself. I'm like, oh, that's why I did that. Like you don't even know.
May I ask why? What was the reason? Why you shot it that way?
So when I was younger, I was like traveling and experiencing different cultures.
Okay.
And just my dad works with different cultures around the world as well. He's an ethnobotanist.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
You have cool parents.
Yeah.
What does your mum do?
My mum works with like disadvantaged children in like at uni.
Oh wow.
So, but I think one of her earlier jobs was to do with agriculture.
Oh, okay,
but
cool.
I think it's more what my dad does.
Yeah.
Probably influences me. But what I realized this year is like in my dad's house, right? He's got all these like cultural artifacts, like chairs, like from like Uganda, like these ancient chairs,
awesome
and like
sauce.
Wooden spoons, baskets, like African basketry, books from like everywhere, textiles, carpets from everywhere around the world.
Yeah.
But as a child, I was like, why is my house so different from other kids' houses? So I was like embarrassed for friends to come over.
Interesting, hey?
Like friends' houses had like, clean white walls, white countertops, like that. I was like, why can't my house look like their house? So I was like embarrassed. So I kind of rejected part of that. That part of me. I was like, I want to be normal. I want to be like the normal kids somehow, somewhat.
Crazy what kids think, hey?
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's just what you think. You want to fit in, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
But then now I'm like, I'm real. And I was like, I couldn't even explain to other people what my dad did. I was like, why can't my dad have a normal job like a doctor or a teacher or a plumber? Like,
oh, I see.
Because he does like ethnobody, which is dealing with medicinal plant use and cultures around the world. It's like difficult to describe as a child.
Yeah.
Like you don't even understand what it is.
Yeah. Kids would be like, what?
Yeah. So I sort of like rejected that, but now I'm like embracing that a lot. And I'm like, it's sort of me learning about who I am. I'm like, oh, that's that connection. And then I'm like fascinated by the things in the house, and I'm like proud of it. And I'm like learning, even like been talking to my dad a lot more, like learning about all the stuff that I'm like interested in it now.
Awesome.
So it's like, it's like learning about myself, and that comes into my work, which is to do with multiculturalism here in Australia. Like that's a big part about my work. Like I love multiculturalism so much, like different cultures. I think it makes Australia so amazing.
Yeah, I love that about Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also I think it stops us from having our own identity, but in a good way. That's cool to mix in between. Why not?
Yeah. And also with like what I wear as well, growing up in born in South Africa.
Yeah.
So I was sort of grew up between the mountains and the sea from a young age.
Awesome.
So that comes into like sort of the style I wear, like nature, colours, blues, greens.
How old were you when you moved here?
I think I was about 6, so probably similar age.
Similar to me, yeah.
Yeah, 5 or
Yeah.
6.
Yeah.
So like,
so you still have a strong memory of South Africa then?
Yeah, I got like little videos of me like running around there and stuff.
Yeah.
But I would always go back for like little holidays with family. But
do you still have family there now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. But yeah, it's just like you don't think about that, but your childhood will always come back into your work.
Always.
It's crazy.
Always.
It's like, even if you don't think it will, it
does.
will.
Yeah. So much impact on it. Hey.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And then I want to get into your work that you do now. I want you to sort of tell myself and everybody listening what goes into. Tell us about the process of your work and then what each piece is normally about, and the little characters as well.
Oh, the worry dolls.
Yeah. So tell us all about that. I'll just have a look at your page as well while I'm.
So, do you want to speak about the worry doll first, or? Yeah,
the little worry doll character.
So they recently came up only around this year.
Came up.
Well, worry dolls have been around for a long time. And through many cultures. And they're basically these little dolls that they would give to children if they had nightmares or if they had like high anxiety or something was worrying them.
In Israel?
Cultures all over the world. There's different types of worry dolls. If you Google it, like, it will come up with different countries, all sorts. But typically they're like these little dolls that children can put underneath their pillows.
Yep.
And you probably get a handful. So each worry doll, the child would express their worry to it, and then the doll would hold their worry, and then the children would put it underneath their pillow and sleep on it, and then the worry doll would take away their worries. Which I think the process of that is really nice because it's a process of letting go, and it's a safe way of letting go. Especially for children, like it's a nice way to
like let your worries go.
Yeah.
Okay,
whatever you want to let go of. It doesn't just have to be worries. But I've used that concept with the worry doll that I use in my art. So I did a live show where I painted a massive worry doll mural, and I did all these worry dolls hanging off the mural, and then each one had an individual pocket, and everyone would write on a piece of paper their little worries, and then put it into a worry doll. And at the end of the exhibition, I did a little burn ceremony. So I didn't read them.
Oh.
I let them go in the burning and filmed it so people saw me letting go of them for them, so that they knew that no one else was reading them, that it was being respected. And then another version of a mural and then speech bubbles, and it was actually public, where people would write their worries in the speech bubbles of the worry doll. And then it was interesting, the interaction of people pointing out other people's worries and then adding to underneath other people's worries and saying, yeah, I feel the same way. So it was a beautiful way of the room and the space connecting. It was really cool to see people just going, oh, I agree with that, I feel that, and then put similar ones down or new ones.
Did they have to read it out? Or
well, it was public. It was in the open. The first time I did it on secret on a piece of paper.
Yep.
The second time I did it was made the speech bubble public, so you would have to physically write it on the wall with paint pens.
Okay.
So it was out in the open.
Gotcha. Okay, that's interesting.
Obviously I couldn't burn the wall, so
then people see other people's worries, and then they kind of be like, oh yeah, they have a shared experience. Okay.
Yeah.
I think
we're all in this together. We're all a community. So it was a nice way of sharing in a way. It was really it was really cool to witness.
Cool.
And by the end of the night, I didn't make the speech bubbles big enough. There was so many worries, and it was like spilling out into the wall.
People be worrying a lot.
Yeah. But it was nice because at the end of the exhibition, it was painted over, and that was the burning ceremony. It was, it was being washed away in a way.
Okay, I've heard of that concept in mental health where you like blow a balloon or something like that?
Yes. Okay. I've seen that being used.
But I think like my sort of perspective on that, like I would get the shared experience because there goes my massive phone. Bonk.
The brick.
The brick phone. The shared experience, I think that's would be important because then you can know that, other people feel what you feel. But in terms of like the balloon thing, kind of feel like maybe it will be temporary, like temporarily that worry might go away. But then I always felt like with the mental health thing, what I find is helpful is like taking action on things. But what's often stopping them is like the decision making, which is like the hard part.
Yeah.
So like you got to take action to like get yourself out of that hole or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then it's like the decision that's like often the hard part. But I think maybe the balloon technique or the burning, maybe it's like a temporary thing that can help them make a decision.
Yeah, it's a small step towards something because it's something small enough to be able to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So I think just writing it and getting it out of you because it's in your mind playing in circles.
Yeah.
So if you can just get out of your body, out of your mind onto a piece of paper, just the act of doing that is pure release.
Because I think, it's interesting how you talk about the mind is going in circles like a lot of the time with people who struggle with mental health because you're kind of comfortable with the way life is, but you got to like get out of that. You got to like sort of take action to do something out of the box.
Yeah.
Box again.
Yeah.
To get you out of that rut. But that's like the hard part is the decision part, which is crazy.
Yeah. Well, I read an article that feeling or being depressed is your body's way of saying like I don't like how like my present moment, the way that I'm living, or I don't like something that's happening. So your body is feeling that, and that's your body of a way of expressing it as being depressed. So by making small changes, your body can feel different and hopefully get out of it.
And pretty sure most people think the same thoughts every day. Like you don't think you do, but you really do. In a constant repetition of the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thoughts.
That's it. But yeah, the Warrior Dolls just helped me connect with others through my art.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could talk about this work specifically. Just
my black and whites.
That looks interesting. And then just talk us about a little process. I'm going to make a little reel out of it maybe or something like that.
Okay.
So over the top. But
okay, sweet. Make it fun, make it perfect. No. Yes, this piece was definitely my black and white phase with a pop of gold for a bit of luxe. So I actually created this piece for Ben Traeger Homes, which was a commission artwork. So this is one of my last big commission kind of project where I had to create, I think it was 12 works for Ben Traeger Home. And the interior designer just said, this is the color palette, which was lucky, a lot of black and white with a bit of gold, which was right up my alley. And then the figures that I did. So I could completely have free range with what figures I wanted. And I just went for it. And that's what I came up with.
Cool. And is that... Who is that?
So a lot of
Who is this mysterious person?
A lot of the time I don't like to draw people that are well known. And that was back then.
She was AI generated.
Yeah, 100%. No, that was before AI. Well, probably AI has been around for ages.
Before AI.
Yeah, this is like ancient times. I like to draw people that look interesting but are not super well known. So that was actually probably an image from 3 different people. So I would grab like a hairstyle like from one model,
okay,
face structure from another model, and then like clothes from another model.
Okay, is this like Pinterest, like you just search? Or
Pinterest, magazines, Friends,
IG,
anywhere.
Tumblr,
literally, Tumblr. Oh my gosh, Tumblr. Yes, I haven't used Tumblr in ages. But yeah,
Love Tumblr.
Yeah, yeah. So good.
Okay.
Yeah, anywhere I could find.
Cool.
But I've got like albums and albums of inspo pics.
Oh, okay.
On every platform.
And if so you're working with an interior designer and like a...
Yeah, so there was an interior designer for Ben Traeger Homes, and then...
And she would design the space and then be like, I need an artwork for this space.
Yeah, yeah.
What if, like, so now you're doing more blue work. What if it doesn't work with blue?
So, yeah, everyone asks, like, do you paint not in blue? And I'm like, I
Do you
swear.
like paint like not blue?
yeah. I'm like, yes. Don't like to, but no. I paint with other colors as well. I don't showcase it as much. A lot of the time it would be experimental stuff in my visual diary. And if I'm feeling like a color, so if intuitively I wake up and I'm like, oh man, I'm loving that color today.
I'm a blue.
I have played that song way too many times, but yes, and in my videos as well. But what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying now. Well, I just got that song playing in my head now.
Different colors and like what you feel.
Oh yeah. So I do experiment with the different colors in my visual diary, but mainly the
Pink?
work that I show. Yes, and pink and blue, the contrast together look great.
Red,
Not a lot of red actually.
purple.
No, not a lot of purple.
You know what's cool
Orange,
and
yes.
random? Just because I was in Bunnings yesterday.
Yeah.
Go to Bunnings.
Yeah.
Go to the paint section.
Yes, I do.
Read
this
the
often.
names of on the paint cards.
Yes, I love reading the names. The names are great.
So cool.
Yeah, I want to meet the person that comes up with these
Yeah.
names.
It's AI. No,
Oh, okay.
it's like I don't want to meet them.
Yeah, I'm like,
No, I think
they
they're
have
really
the greatest
cool.
names.
Some of them are a bit like I was just like reading like most of them are amazing. Some of them just like
The whites are.
Come on.
Yeah. Have you read the white ones?
no.
They're like Pearl Ocean or
Oh,
White.
what was one?
Face.
I read one. It was like grey or marsh heron or something like this, and I was like, oh,
Okay.
it's like paints a story.
Yeah. Was
And then
that
I
a
was
grey
like-
tone?
It was like a greeny, like a marshy grey.
Right.
So I just imagine like this heron like in the marshlands and like a grey, maybe a lot of fog.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
You just gave me an idea for like an art show. You
Oh.
give like a color palette to each artist and with the name, and they have to come up with a
There could be games out of this, like,
yeah.
and they're free. Like you can just, I
Yeah.
went in there with a friend because I'm painting like my place.
That's right.
You can take it. You can take these colors and you can
Take so many.
colors.
Yeah.
You can
I use them for my art therapy sessions. I'm like, dun, dun, dun,
take
dun.
them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, it's amazing.
Yeah. They're great. They're great swatches. Yeah. I use them also. They're a hot tip for artists, if artists are listening.
Hot tip.
Hot
Coming
tip,
up.
which
Ariel
people do all the
Katzir.
time. But if you don't know this, then you will love it. You grab a bunch of the paint swatches that we're talking about, and then if you need to come up with a color palette for your artwork, you put a few together until you feel like the tones are right, and then you can put them all. I sticky tape them onto a piece of card next to the artwork, and then I can transfer that color onto the painting. And then you can play with the different thicknesses and how much you want that color on that artwork. So you can see how it like flows within the
Cool.
whole color palette. Yeah.
Yeah, swatches are great.
Yeah, swatches are so handy. Highly
So-
recommend. Thank you, Bunnings.
Thanks, Bunnings. Like the more
Sponsor me.
Yeah, Bunnings is kind of lit.
Yeah, I love Bunnings. Their jumpers are great.
Really?
Yeah, they have the best jumpers.
Yeah,
If you can get your hand on one of
Bunnings.
those, they're so good.
Last thing I want to talk about is the what are some upcoming events that Ariel Katzir might be doing or hosting, or like what have you got coming up, or what are your plans for the future?
Sure. I do have a pop-up mural coming up on the 5th to the 9th, 5th to the 9th of October in the city for the Perth Jazz.
Jazz.
Yeah, jazz.
I love jazz.
You sounded so jazzy saying that.
Jazz.
Jazzo. Festival coming up. So there's going to be...
Damn, there's a jazz festival. I'm hyped.
Yeah,
I'm all
yeah.
about the jazz festival. I didn't know it existed, but
Dude, in Leederville on Saturday mornings, at 10 o'clock. I think it's Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings at 10 o'clock. They have free jazz at Vinyl Cafe. It's the best. And you just have coffee, sit and listen to the jazz. It's such a good way to start the day. Highly recommend.
I'm going to use that clip, make it real,
Do it.
tag them.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's so good. Such
make
a vibe.
it an ad, guys. But yeah, that's awesome. I love jazz. We need more jazz in life.
Yeah. Have you been to a jazz cellar?
No. I literally love jazz, but I haven't even been to Ellington Jazz or anything like that.
I've never been to Ellington. That's a place I still have to go, but highly recommend the jazz cellar off Sky Beach Road. Best place ever. The best night you'll ever have in your life. It feels like you've transformed into another world. That's
when you know, like, that's creativity. It's supposed to transport you to another place. Like,
definitely.
You see a painting on a wall, it's kind of like a portal, or something I've thought of recently is like having art on the wall. It's kind of like looking into an endless, kind of like looking into a horizon. It's kind of like how you feel about looking at nature, but it's like brought it into a closed environment. That's how I feel anyway.
Into your home.
Little tangent. I completely forgot.
That's cool. Yeah, I feel like you're going on a journey now.
Wait, where was I going with that? I don't know. But no, transports you to a different place.
Yes.
So good interior design, good, like, it's like you're creating an environment that's supposed to make someone feel like they're in a different place. And when I go into like a good restaurant or good, like a place that's sort of got interesting interior design, that's what it does. So the place that you were saying, which was?
The Jazz Cellar.
The Jazz Cellar.
Yes.
I need to check that out.
Yes, definitely. But when you were talking about artwork transforming you and taking you places, I'm like 100% all about that. I remember I was at an exhibition years ago. I can't even remember the name of it, but they had each painting in a different scene. So it wasn't just hung up on a wall. They made a different environment for it, even though it was the same artist and same style for each painting. The scene changed the mood of each painting. It was really cool concept. So you would like sit there, and it was petitioned off ever so slightly, so you couldn't really see the next painting. It was only small petitions, but it was really cool how they created that environment, and so that mood had changed ever so slightly each time you moved over.
Yeah, when you're in touch with yourself.
Yeah. I feel like we're definitely getting in touch with ourselves right now.
It's like you can look at a color and it's like you really feel that emotion. Like in Bunnings, you're just like, it's like people are watching like, what?
You're just going on this journey by yourself.
But it's like, I think when you're in touch with yourself and how you feel about things, like you really feel that color.
Mm-hmm.
And even better when you know why you feel that color. It's kind of like even bring something else into it. But
yeah,
it's interesting.
I mean, that's how I feel about blue. So that's,
I'm blue.
I'm usually going to have that song stuck in my head the whole night. I'll be driving home going.
Getting to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got some murals coming up for the Jazz Festival.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes, that is very cool. I also have a group exhibition which actually is getting launched. I'm putting it up tomorrow, but now I have to remember. It's a group show that Steve Brown, I'm like trying to look for the name really quickly, that Steve Brown is curating. Steve Brown, yeah. So he's a local.
Shout out Steve Brown.
Yeah, shout out Steve Brown. So he's a local visual artist as well, and he does murals. And he's done T-shirts as well.
T-shirts, murals, coffee cups.
Yeah, I'm sure he's done coffee cups. The show is called
The Steve Brown Show.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you look that up, I'm sure it'll come up. Hidden Corners. It's a group exhibition.
Okay.
And Jodie Knowles, who you've interviewed in it.
Shout out Jodie. Oh, she's in it.
Yep, she's in it.
Wonder if she'll be flying from Sydney, maybe.
I doubt it.
We'll see.
But maybe. So.
Come and find out.
Yeah. So I've got that coming up.
Okay.
That's on the 27th of October.
October's a lot of things happening.
It's a full month. And then I run workshops 3 days a week at Rocky Bay.
And then?
And then, yeah, I'm like, do you want me to keep listing? I can.
And then I retire.
And then, and then I'm doing the series Many Dresses, and I'm looking for gentlemen and men that want to wear some dresses and be painted.
Okay.
So if yourself or you know anyone interested, let me know.
What's
DM
that
me.
quote from paint me like one of your French girls?
I'm going to make that the quote of the exhibition for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But instead of French girls, French boy.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of projects. And a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
But, cool.
Keeping active in the space.
100%. Well,
I like it.
Ariel, it's been absolutely fabulous having you on.
Thank you for having me.
I think, we covered a lot of interesting things. Mental health, knowing yourself, your story, what goes into your art, the story behind the blue color.
Yes, the blue.
Everything. So, yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you and follow you?
Or mainly social media. I'm on Pinterest, I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on Facebook. Where else am I? On my website.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. Yes, I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Real Life as well.
What's
I'm on
that?
Call Me. Real Life, just meet me, handshake.
What is real?
I do a good handshake.
You do? Okay,
Yeah.
let's try.
So if I can reach you.
That's good.
Yeah, nice.
It's weird when people have that like oh hi.
Yeah, I've had someone literally
like I'm gonna remember right now to like actively when I shake someone's hand, I'm gonna like grab it like it's better. It's like
yeah, you need that like and you need that like
it's
what I mean? Yeah.
like jelly.
Ta-ta, darling, ta-ta.
But yeah, that's I'm not on the screen anymore.
Oh, I'm not. Did I bump you?
Anyway.
Should I
Yeah, you can do that.
I'm so sorry.
That's what we got time for, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for the one streamer on the live show.
Yeah.
Still here.
Thank you. Oh, really? Oh,
Still here.
Dan, thank you.
But yeah.
He's a legend.
Stay tuned. I'll leave all the links down below. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at digitalcreators_AU. Subscribe on YouTube, Twitch. Follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, all that jazz. And catch you next time, guys.